Okay, we're going to turn to the next page. There's some stuff in here about shifting to the greater exponent. Not worrying about that. We're just going to go straight into the practice problems, okay? All right. So here we are going to take this and we're going to subtract this. So in your calculator, this would be 8.068 second E8 minus 4.14 second E7, enter. You're going to get, if you're in psi mode, you're going to get 7.654 times 10 to the 8th. Confirm that you can get that before we go on. You got it? Cool. Okay. Go ahead and try number 2. And let's see what you get on number 2 without me. Make sure you guys are using the negative key on the exponent and not the subtraction key because you'll get an error. Okay, so those are the keystrokes that you guys are using. I got 5.2248 times 10 to the negative 3. Is that what you got? Awesome. Okay, any questions for me on that? So I have 2 more things to talk about and then we're done. Okay. We're going to talk about the rules of exponents and we're going to talk about graphing and then that's it. Okay. All right. So the rules of exponents are something that you guys used in Algebra 1 and you also use them in Algebra 2. Okay. And let's take a look at the quick check here. You know that if you've got 10 to the 3rd power raised to the 5, so this would be 3 times 5, right? You would multiply the exponents together. So this would end up being 10 to the 15th. For number 2, since you have a number in scientific notation and you're cubing it, you have to distribute the 3 to the 2 and to the 10, right? So this would be 2 cubed times 10 to the 6th, because you'll multiply the 2 and the 3 together. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So this would really be 8 times 10 to the 16th. But when you get to number 3, you want to be careful because if I ask you to submit an answer in standard scientific notation, make sure you're looking for that. This would become 5 squared times 10 to the 8th. 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. Does that look like standard scientific notation to you? No, it's not. So you have to move the decimal over 1. So that would end up giving you 2.5 times 10 to the 9th. So when you move the decimal to the left, the exponent on the power of 10 will increase by 1. Okay? All right, lastly, let's talk about graphing. You know that when you graph things, you have an independent and a dependent variable, okay? It is really important that you know that time will generally be the independent variable. That means time is likely going to be on the x-axis. Okay, we use data tables in here. You have to title your data tables a certain way. I will always let you use your book when you guys are doing a lab, so that if you want to look at it as a reference. So here for your data table, I expect you to title it as data table, and you need to give it a number. If it's the first data table that you're writing on a lab report, then you would put data table number 1. And then after it, you would give me some sort of a descriptive title that describes the data that you're writing in it. If you don't do it this way, I will be deducting points. Okay? Now, let's go on. Let's talk about slope. You guys know that slope is the variable m. In chemistry, you will often see it represented by the letter K. Slope is also known in chemistry as the proportionality constant or just the constant. Okay? And you may be asked to write the general equation y equals mx plus b. Okay? So let's take a look at the next page. There are 3 different general types of graphic relationships. You may have a direct relationship, inverse, or exponential. In this class, you will mostly be looking at direct and inverse. Okay? And what I'd like to do is take a look at the next page. We're going to look at the last set of practice problems, which is here. You tell me, what kind of relationship does A represent? Exponential. How about B? Inverse. And then how about C? Direct. Okay, now for this set of practice problems, when it's a direct relationship, they want you to write down the equation of the line. So that means that they want you to write y equals mx plus b, which is something that I would expect you to be able to do. So if I pick 2 points on the line, I have 0, 0 here, and then I've got this point, which is 550, okay? If I label these as x1, y1, x2, y2, my slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, is going to be 50 minus 0 over 5 minus 0. So that's 50 over 5, which is 10. You need to pay attention to your units. Your units here are meters per second. So that means the slope would be 10 m over s. And then when I write my equation for the line, since my y-intercept is 0, that means b is 0. So this would be y equals 10x. That would be my equation for the line. Okay? Your homework assignment is open. It is due at 8 a.m. on Monday. I would strongly suggest you finish it in 8th hour today because the last problem is worth 8 points and it's based upon something that I gave you in the review packet this summer. And if you don't know how to copy a data table over to a Google spreadsheet and obtain the equation of the line by just clicking things, that's something that you're going to want to know. Like that is a skill that once you go to college or you take physics or some other science class, it will save you. Okay. So how many of you know how to do that? A few of you. Okay. So I'm just giving you the heads up that you should open up the homework